Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Well, hello and welcome to Chris's Hidden Metal Show. God damn it, it's been probably 10 years since the last time I put out an episode like this. Of course, I'm putting this on the Two Strangers One podcast feed. The original Chris's Hidden Metal Show lived on the Livin' Lame podcast, Livin' Lame Podbean feed years ago. I haven't heard from those guys for years, except for Dwight Graham. We're still Facebook buddies. Well, as the times change, it turns out that this actually is going to be, as I plan, part of a 4-part series of Chris's Hidden Metal Show, because since then I've actually put out 4 independently, I guess if you want to call it that, independently released albums. I think technically the way these albums were produced and behind the way they're done, I can't legally put them out. I can't put them on Spotify or DistroKid or any of those things. So they live on YouTube for the time being. I guess it's one of those deals where I'm 46 years old now, and I'm going through a midlife crisis, and I don't hear metal like the metal that I liked growing up. I'm the old man, get off my lawn, but with the age of metalcore and post-hardcore and post this and that, and every kind of core, every kind of genre that has core at the end: hardcore, metalcore, grindcore, deathcore, death metalcore. Drives me nuts. But once again, heavy metal, what's popular in heavy metal is a young man's game. And with that being said, seeing these young bucks take the stage, and I have a whole rant about that. I literally have a whole rant written down about how I don't like modern metal. And what I've done is I've kind of stumbled into it because I wasn't planning to do these, and this is sort of me putting in my 10,000 hours. I mean, not that I plan to be touring the world or seeing people, but I've been getting a lot of having a lot of fun and learning a lot about music production and putting songs together. And as you'll learn, because this project that I've been working on with 4 albums in, of which I'm working on a 5th one, I can tell you as the time I'm recording this, depending on when I'm going to release it, I already have 3 fully completed songs for the next album whenever I decide to drop it, probably on my birthday, because that's been the release schedule for the past 2 years. I put out 1 album on my birthday and another album on Halloween, which is really weird. And the actual tracks, the backing tracks, I've worked with different artists, 3 so far, and with the 5th album coming out, I'll be working with another person for the 2nd time. Am I boring you guys with all this stuff? I'm just sort of just getting this all down for the record. I've been putting together music that I want to listen to. Now, of course, it sounds a little self-indulgent. Yes, I want to listen to music that I'm into, the music that I'm in. That's not without saying that I listen to my music more than other people's music. Like I'll throw on Spotify, I'll listen to a couple of tracks, and even to the stuff I like. And once again, with the new stuff, and once again, I don't want to sound like that old man, get off my lawn, no one's putting out music that I like. I try to listen to new music, or I'll listen to bands that I really loved that are now still kind of putting out albums, but they're not as great as they were in their heyday. I'll find myself turning that stuff off and putting on my music, my band's music, the Industrial Bastards. I guess you can say Industrious Bastards is very much like Nine Inch Nails is to Trent Reznor, where I am the only official member with a rotating roster. And not that I don't want to work with these people. First 2 albums being done with DJ, and the 3rd album being done with Gus Wallner, and the 4th album done with Jacob Lazat. all three brilliant musicians, and I can't speak for them, and I'm not going to speak for them, but it's not like either three of them have reached out to me and said, yes, let's put out an album, let's make this up. And I've reached out to them, and I've sort of, showed my enthusiasm, and, they're artists, and I'm pretty sure they think of it as, they're the ones doing all the work. I just throw their vocals on. But I do mix. You can't just throw vocals on a track. It's not that simple. So I take what they make, add my lyrics to it. And so far, nobody's had any input on the lyrics. And then I produce a song. And obviously, the first two albums you can hear the amateurness of the production, and those two with DJ. And also keep in mind that those two albums were all tracks that were ripped off an app, a phone app. Now that's how me and DJ met, on the Smule app, SMULE. And the Smule app it's a karaoke app. And how it does is, and I don't know how they legally can have this service, but I guess they fly just enough under the radar where big record companies don't care. But one of the users will upload a instrumental track, and it's not like because I've seen people do karaoke in bars, and there's a whole legal system for if you want to do karaoke in a bar where the artists get legally paid. Smule does not do this, even though they do charge a yearly fee for the premium service. But what they do is a user will upload an instrumental, then other people can take turns singing half the song, if that makes any sense, where they'll sing the first verse, and then the second person joins in and then sings the second verse and the first chorus. And and the way the app is split, the user uploads an instrumental track, usually the lyrics, sometimes they don't, and that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But I guess if you're a fan of the song and you're doing karaoke, you probably already know the lyrics. You don't need them in front of you. Or you could just, Google them and look them up while you're singing. So the first person, a user uploads the song and the lyrics. Then a first user will come and sing the first half. And then they put it up. And then other people can join the second half. And it produces a video together. Now, of course, with this being like any kind of social media app, and I've made friends off this app, social media friends, is that you do a song with them. Sometimes as you go back and forth, and then you'll like the track, or they'll like the track, and all this other stuff. So there is a back and forth. There is unofficial rules. You say thank you, they say thank you, you like the track, they like the track. It's a whole deal. But of course, like most social media, there are some people that have really big followings. There are people who have, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. And so when they put out a track, thousands of people join in. Thousands of people do their second half. And usually it's people who are really, really talented singers. Because I've sang with, I've joined people's Smules where, they sing, I don't know how they don't have a musical contract, and then you join in. Now, of course, obviously the second person, you can do anything. Once that first half is recorded, you could join in. And I've been drunk and I sloppily sang with other people, but really bad. They're doing incredible and I'm doing shitty. But like I said, you make friends like that. And DJ, the guy who worked with me on the first two albums, if you want to call it that, his deal was, instead of singing karaoke, he would upload himself playing the guitar to a drum track. I'm assuming he got the drum track somewhere online, and he'd make up his own riffs. And the one thing I liked about him, and obviously why I liked working with him, is he's just throwing this online. People, if you sit there, it's a whole structure to a song. Yes, he is. On occasion, I think he's done like full-on covers of songs that exist, but he's sort of just throwing up a drum track with his original riffs over it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm not aware of the world, and maybe he is doing instrumental tracks. We do have one song where it is the back of another track, and he added his guitars to it, but it is an existing track. So I call that one a bonus, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But that being said, oh my God, I'm doing a lot of talking. He had put up a bunch of tracks, and then I had joined them. Now, of course, other people have joined his tracks, and they kind of just were like vocal riffing. While he put out a full song, they're sort of vocal riffing, and I honestly, they weren't doing his music justice, in my opinion. So I would, find tracks that I like, and he put out dozens and dozens, if not hundreds. I found the ones that I really, really liked, and I listened to them over and over and over again, and wrote individual lyrics for each song. And it's one of those deals, the same thing like writers who write and stuff like that, where you don't know where you're starting generally, and you'll start riffing lyrics and stuff like that. It just comes out of you. I really like that, and I joined a couple of his smules. And I liked it so much that I got really excited. I'm like, hey, man, let's start a band, and he never really answered. He never really answered. But he did I guess he liked collaborating with me. He was very polite and everything like that. I don't know his last name. I don't know where he lives technically. I'm assuming from what I can glean from the website, he's probably somewhere in Iowa or Illinois. He seems like a good dude. Like usual, probably, have a little trouble in the love department. And like all of us who doesn't have a little trouble in the love department. He seems like a bachelor, I guess would be the best way to put it. And that's all good. Hey, I'm a fucking bachelor. Much younger than me. If I'm 46, he's easily years younger than me. And he has really good taste in music because he does do actual smules. He does do other songs. And with that being said, he kind of does bluesy influence. He seems, obviously with his talent in playing guitar, he likes bluesier rock music. And actually the first two albums, I wouldn't even call metal. They're metal influenced. They're more hard rock, bluesy hard rock. But, I want to be a metalhead. I want to sing in a metal band. I want to be a heavy metal vocalist. Rah! And so with that being said, I found his tracks and I downloaded them, and we went back and forth. And with the origin of the name, I had said, what would we call the name of what would we call the band? And his original answer was Industrious. I like the name, but it feels a little vague, and especially since the songs we were putting together weren't exactly industrial metal. I said, let's add to it. So I said, he gave it a whirl, I gave out a word. So I said, what if we called it Industrious Bastards? And that was sort of it is a play on the Quentin Tarantino movie Inglourious Bastards. But oddly enough, I'm not a big Quentin Tarantino fan. I think I saw that movie once, and even then I didn't really pay attention to it. I like Quentin Tarantino. I just never really seen that movie. So the funny thing is that I'm sort of like riffing on the name of his movie, although it's a movie I'm not a fan of. I heard good things. Industrious Bastards sounds, because, when you have a bunch of guys who are trying to put an independent album together, independent band, you have to be industrious. And the fact that I'm ripping these tracks off an app on the phone and doing my best to add vocals and make it sound halfway decent. I know the first two albums are a little cringy. Let's get that out of the way. I was very happy with the results, and I still throw them on. And even though they're not the greatest tracks in the world, and nothing to do with DJ. DJ, for a guy that's playing a guitar into an app on his phone, is incredible. I'm talking about my production and, of course, my lyrics. I know I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but, I do put it into the music, and I'm very proud. That's the one thing I can say. Not all of these songs on all four of the albums right now, not all of them are bangers, and not all four of them are top 10, top 40, top 100 hits, but I put my heart in them, and I really love them. So enough of the preamble, enough of the backstory. I won't have get into this much backstory on the next albums. Thank you for sitting with me this long. So the first album, and then I had the first album, I said, what should we, since I said, all right, let's call the band Industrious Bastards. I said, what should we call the first album? So he said, Constructed Destruction. And I fucking loved it. I love the duality of it. I'm a Gemini. I love the idea of constructed destruction. I don't know what that means. It sounds like when they demolish buildings, like planned demolishing, like the guys who tear down buildings and for construction sites and stuff like that. There's a whole method to the madness. I love the idea of constructed destruction. Like, being heavy metal, you want to rip shit down, you want to tear things down, but there's also a plan behind it. It isn't just chaos. That's the way I read it. That's the way it feels to me. With the tracks on the album, I guess we kind of run with that. And so the first track is Here's to You. Now, of all these tracks, especially on the first two albums, the first two albums, I think there's 3 songs that DJ has vocals on. So this first one, and it was the first one, and that's why this song will always be like first in my heart, is that it's the first song we did together. It's the first song. It's doing this song that sort of said, hey, we can do something with this. We can add it. So it's him playing riffs, and then he's kind of riffing lyrics. I mean, they sort of make sense, but if you really listen, they don't. The song is called Here's to You. And I think when he put it up with that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio from the Great Gatsby holding up the glass, Here's to You. So I believe he put the song as sort of a fuck you to the ex-girlfriend, which I love. That's later on in the songs and later albums, the 3 or 4 things that heavy metal's always good at it is, anti-religion songs, anti-government songs, anti-relationship songs. So, a big part of that is the fuck my ex-girlfriend, that bitch kind of music. So Here's to You comes off as, I think his parts were sort of a, here's to you, you bitch. you all the people you screwed. And then I'm sort of in this song, we're kind of going back and forth in a Linkin Park kind of vibe. Not that I toot my own horn on that. And so the lyrics, it's like someone who was at your side and then they kind of moved on without you. So that's the riffs I'm going at. So here we go with Here's to You.
Here's to you. That you do. Everything that you help them through, and everything that you're putting me through. When I crawled, I saw you run. When you fly, left me to die. I won't die. You know what you do. You do it all the time, don't you? Think about that. What you do, putting me through. I didn't know what to say, so I just pick up a guitar and play. And I say things. And I say things through the mind. Doesn't matter what I do, people gonna forget about me and you. Oh, there, once upon a time, there was a time with your mind, and everything seemed to be fine. Everybody's great with white wine. The longer we stayed together, every time it rained we got weather. Every time we think it was better, God was together now. So here's to you. And everything that you didn't do. And everything that you're gonna do. But the good people, what you put me through.
When I crawl, I saw you run. When you fly, left me to die. No, I won't die. For some peace, for some time, I won't cease, and I won't die. For some peace, for some time, I won't cease, I won't die. One more time. When I crawl, I saw you run. When you fly,
So here's to you. To everybody that you're gonna screw.
I won't die.
And so that was Here's to You by the Industrious Bastards, starring Chris Cologne and DJ. I used to call him that, DJ. What I did was I was watching the video in between recording this stuff, just in case there's stuff that I needed to be reminded of when you find these tracks if you watch these videos on YouTube. One of the few reoccurring things that I do on all the albums is I'll make a video using this program called Nightmare Puppeteer. I had discovered that I swear some of this stuff comes out of like serendipity. I had learned about the program right around the time I was making the first album. It's a program. There's a band that I really love, even though they're kind of controversial. The lead singer got in hot water from some nonsense, called Mindless Self-Indulgence. And love them or hate them, they are an inspiration to the creative spirit. Unfortunately, the lead singer is an asshole and allegations of being a pedophile. But let's remove the artist from the art. And I like Mindless Self-Indulgence. One of their videos. Oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank on the name of the video? Not Born Again. Oh my God, I have to look it up right now. I'll be right back. And the song is called It Gets Worse by Mindless Self-Indulgence. The director for the video is now, from what I understand, he calls himself many names, but when he directs videos, he calls himself M. Strange. I know he's also known as Imagination Rabbit, and he's gone by a couple of other monikers. But I think when he directs videos, he goes by the name M, like just the letter M, dot, spelled out, dot, D-O-T, Strange. I don't know if that's a play on M. Night Shyamalan or something like that. I was looking into his work, and he does some incredible, he does his own music, and he makes his own music videos, but he also put together a program that's downloaded. You download this program like you're playing a video game. It's kind of like a video game, sort of like a really, really warped video game, and it's called Nightmare Puppeteer. It's really in depth, and he's made his own music. He makes really offensive music. It's good with he uses his own program to make the videos when he puts them under the name Imagination Rabbit. I use the program, and of course, I'm nowhere near as good. But then again, I'm sort of like, I just want to get it out there. And of course, I edit the video and I do what I can. But his stuff, I mean, maybe because it's his program and he has all the source code and stuff like that. It's made in Unity, like a bunch of independent games, and it's available on Steam. It's called Nightmare Puppeteer. So that video I made with him, and every album has at least one video made in Nightmare Puppeteer. My character is a really fat, naked, bald-headed, and when the head is not even there's characters that have heads, and my character's head is just a white ball. I mean, it has a face and stuff like that, but I always kind of change the eyes and I change the teeth. He's always carrying a baseball bat and a microphone, a bottle of whiskey. It's a really weird character, and I know I've seen reactions to the videos when I've gotten strangers to watch it online and stuff like that. Like, what the hell is that with the fat guy? I just think it's funny. I'm a fat guy, and I just think it's pretty funny. If you do watch the video, that's what the hell's going on. And then usually with the collaborators, like I do with DJ, like I do with Gus Wallner, and like I do with Jacob Lazat, is I'll make their character. DJ doesn't look like DJ, but I made the character that kind of looks like what I think DJ, and I've seen his face, but it's, the character has wild hair and is really tall and has buck teeth, and DJ doesn't necessarily look like that, and I hope he doesn't feel insulted, but I just felt that character kind of represented him at best, and I hope he doesn't get angry at me for that. All right, so let's move on to the next song. I've been doing a lot of talking, and I promise not to do this much talking in between the songs. This is all sort of preamble for all the albums all together, and not just song between songs. So the second one is called Sane. It is obviously very, very influenced by Pink Floyd and that era of music, kind of trippy, kind of dippy. I don't do psychedelics. I don't do drugs or anything like that. I don't do anything. I really don't. I'm pretty square. I have the occasional drink. I would say this song, it's called Sane, but I think it kind of has a druggy vibe to it. Like I said, it's certainly influenced by Pink Floyd and the like. When you watch the video, and it's funny because I'm recording this in 2024, and you go back just 2 years, how much leaps and bounds we are from AI technology in just 2 years. Because, I love the video. It meant a lot to me putting it together. But just how basic it looks, and how by the time I'm putting out stuff for the fifth album, of course, we're still not there. It's not like you could just type in anything you want. It's still a process. But it's funny to see how the first album, which I think works with the lyrics and works with the song, is very abstract. But I think it catches a vibe. And once again, this is stuff you have to listen to. You have to see online. I'm talking about the visuals when here we are supposed to listen to the music. But yeah, so it's called Sane, and it's about a guy losing his mind or has lost his mind. And here we go.
Dodging embarrassing
whisper. Now that the real world is fading, something about paranoia, living inside a painting, silent idiots of art, voices coming from the walls, escape is all wants, the room to move is getting small. And that was Sane by the Industrious Bastards. Like I'd mentioned before, I'm actually watching the videos in between the recording of the commentary tracks, if you want to call it that. Just watching that video, and once again, early AI video art, very abstract, but I think it certainly helps that song. It's very trippy. Like, I don't do acid, but if I did do acid, I would say do acid, then watch that video. Or maybe not. I don't know. You may give a bad trip. Okay, so let's move on to the next song. The next song, it has a curse in the name. I had to sign in to my YouTube so I can, because I've been watching it on a different browser, and it said this song may have lyrics and you have to sign in. So the song is called Don't Fuck With Us. Now, with this first two albums being more hard rock blues, this one is a straight up metal song. It's what I like about metal. It's a very aggressive song. When I recorded this, I didn't want to scare my neighbors. I guess I put it that way. So what I did was I took my recording setup and I brought it down to the car. I recorded in the car. My daughter said, and I don't think she wouldn't make this up. She basically said she can hear me screaming in the car from her bedroom as I recorded this. Because, you know, a car, if you're not in a noisy area, a car is a very nice place to record. It's sort of like a sound booth. You can close the doors and everything like that. So this is a nice, aggressive kind of song. A little simple in the lyrics, I'm not going to lie. But I mean, it's a song called Don't Fuck With Us. I mean, you don't expect Shakespeare from a song called Don't Fuck With Us. So here we go. Get ready to rage out and thrash your head and bang your head and punch your friend in the face in the mosh pit. Here we go. Don't fuck with us.
To earn our respect, it don't come for free. Do you have my back? It's plain to see. Don't try to run when the chips are down. To win this fight, you'll have to bury me. Do or die. Feel the beast from within. You may try, but you won't win. What the fuck with us? We're not backing down, we show our loyalty. This is more than a fight, this is family. When you lost all hope and you think you're alone, just look behind and that's where you'll find me. Do or die. Feel the beast from within. You may try, but you won't win. Do or die. Feel the beast from within. You may try, but you won't win. Don't fuck with us! To earn my respect, it don't come for free. Do you have my back? It's plain to see. Don't try to run when the chips are down. To win this fight, you'll have to bury me. You'll have to bury me, yeah!
And that was Don't Fuck With Us. And I believe that yell at the end was the part my daughter was talking about when she said she can hear me scream from inside my car with the doors closed from her bedroom. The video, I gotta say, it's one of those things where I had, when you're making videos and stuff like that, you kind of have, I didn't have an idea for the video. So when you can't have an idea for it, when you don't have an idea for the video, you make it a lyric video where you play the lyrics over the screen. The abstract stuff in the background is just something I learned in this program called Blender, and it's a 3D modeling program. The guy's name is CG Matter. He's a really good tutorialist. He does a lot of Blender stuff, and he's really smart, and I've interacted with him a lot in the past, and he's a good dude. And so I followed one of his tutorials to make this wrinkly ball. It does a little grotesque. It does look a little, and it's not vulgar. It just looks weird. I just thought that would go good in the video. And it kind of pulses the music and stuff like that. And then I just put lyrics over it using every filter I could get my hands on when it comes to the lyrics, with how they fade in, fade out, come in, blur in, blur out, push in, push out, all this other stuff. Very early Windows Movie Maker of me. Once again, the heart is there. I know the technique and technical stuff is a little cheesy, but the heart's there. So we're going to move on to the next track. The next track is called Landlord is Knocking. This is a straight up blues song. When this song came up in my head, I'm not insulting blues. I'm not making fun of blues. And I don't think that's the way it comes off. I'm just saying is that it's funny how blues is the granddaddy of metal. Blues is the granddaddy of rock. And, I think we all understand that, if there weren't black artists in the early 1900s playing electric guitar, we wouldn't have heavy metal as we know today. So when DJ put out this track, I was putting it together at the time. Was it at the time? I'd already moved, but this song is unofficially about my old apartment where things were falling apart. It did have a really bad roach problem that I couldn't fucking handle, and I did bombs, the roach bombs, insect bombs in the house a couple of times. Never did anything. Really bad. My landlord was a scumbag piece of shit. It's sort of based on a real story, and it's funny when I first did the lyrics and recorded it and sent it to DJ on the app, he's like, how did you know about my apartments? I guess DJ sort of had this. And ironically, I think roaches are like the one thing I don't mention in the song, but it's, cracked windows and painted windows shut and letting in draft and creaking floors and everything like that. Right? What was this, 2022 or whatever? When I was putting the video together, I haven't watched the video yet, but I used footage from the protests during the lockdown, during quarantine, where people weren't working and they couldn't pay their rent and landlords were kind of turning into dicks. That wasn't the intention of the song. For some reason that clicked in my head, like real shitty landlords when people are down on their luck and having a really bad time paying their bills and stuff like that, trying to evict people. And so I had used footage from those protests, and actually, I've seen like 2 or 3 people in that video that I used are like people that I know from my neighborhood, from protests in New York City. Even though the song wasn't about landlords evicting people during the lockdown, it can certainly be used in that fashion, and it certainly fits. And maybe it might have been sitting in the back of my head, but it was more about my shitty fucking apartment and my landlord, who didn't want to fucking do anything, did the absolute bare minimum, and was a real dick about it too. You know, he was a fucking slumlord. Here we go with the blues track. And with all due respect to blues, I wasn't trying to like make fun of a blues track. A song about a shitty apartment and a shitty landlord certainly feels like it could be a blues song, especially during the lockdown when landlords are being scumbags to their tenants. So here we go. Landlord is Knockin'.
Landlord's knocking, baby, looking for rent. Ain't got no money, mister, it's all been spent. Toilet is leaking, the tub has mold, floorboards creaking, the carpets are old. Haven't had hot water for weeks, my lawn is brown. When there's water in the sink, yeah, it doesn't go down. Landlord's knocking, baby, looking for rent. Ain't got no money, mister, it's all been spent. Trying to evict me, marshals on their way. Can't keep a roof over my head, or so they say. When it rains, the ceiling sags, my wiring is frayed, the oven leaks gas. Windows painted shut, the glass is cracked. In the winter, let's in a draft. Landlord's knocking, baby, looking for rent. Ain't got no money, mister, it's all been spent. Pipes are rusty, my faucets drip, the shelves are dusty, the doorknob's lost its grip, the drywall is crumbling, full of holes, paint is chipping, my drawers won't close. Landlord's knocking, baby, looking for rent. Ain't got no money, mister, it's all been spent. Trying to evict me, marshals on their way. Can't keep a roof over my head, or so they say. Bathroom door won't close, it's off the hinge. My freezer's busted, so's the fridge. I guess I could complain, but every year it just stays the same. Landlord's knocking, baby, looking for rent. Got no money, mister, it's all been spent. It's just the way I live, day something has got to give.
Mira, pendejo, abre esa maldita puerta ahora mismo, coño. Abre esa maldita puerta ahora. Quiero mi jodida renta y es ya, nieta.
And that was Landlord is Knocking by Industrious Bastards. First and foremost, I'm going to keep announcing the band as if it's some other band and not my band over and over again. Get used to it. It's funny. I do say from Industrious Bastards. I don't want to call it the Industrious Bastards because I hate when there's a band that has the in it and then you try to look it online. Like if you go on Spotify or something like that, like if you look, I mean, not that I'm going to look them up, but like you're looking up The Strokes, automatically you're going to go to S because you're like, oh, The Strokes. And then like, no, you have to look up T for The Strokes. I don't want the band to be referred to as the Industrious Bastards, even though I may say it on occasion. I want it to be just be Industrious Bastards. So that was Landlord is Knocking by Industrious Bastards. The funny thing about that video, at the end, you hear a gentleman cursing out. It's the landlord. It is the landlord cursing out the tenant, me being the tenant in Spanish. That was a gentleman. Oh my goodness. I don't know his name off the top of my head. During the lockdown, during 2020, I'm going to see if I can look that up real quick while I'm talking to you guys, while I vamp and try to figure out what the hell's going on here. Feature Chris checking in here. The name of the voice artist that I used for the landlord and in my other project is C. Ambert, the voice of the landlord. During the lockdown, I had the same way I'm trying to start a music career, if you want to call it that. The same way I'm trying to make music, I was also trying to make a cartoon in 2020. That was sort of my, during the pandemic, while we were all sitting at home and I was on unemployment insurance, I was working on a cartoon. And I guess it's not a cartoon per se, as it is just, what's the word I'm looking for? But basically, a friend and I had put together a script for a cartoon called Veil Corp. My collaborator on the cartoon, the person who helped me with the script, and actually the person who helped me with the art, much like the people who I collaborated to make the music, helped me make the stuff, but aren't exactly enthusiastic about trying to push it to the next level. I'm sort of left here on my own, trying to get these projects off the ground or get them seen in front of people, the right people. So I had taken a script from that a friend and I put together. I was hiring artists off this app called Fiverr. My main character was a Puerto Rican character, basically kind of based on me, looked exactly like me, but I wanted him to have a Spanish accent. I wanted him, you don't really see much Puerto Rican representation in cartoons. When you think Spanish, I mean, you have Antonio Banderas and you have that kind of Spanish, the Lothario, the handsome man that gets all the ladies. But I kind of wanted just a Spanish character that wasn't from Mexico, and much love to my Mexican brothers and sisters, but a Puerto Rican character. So I wanted a guy from Puerto Rico. He spoke when he spoke English, it had a heavy accent, and all that might have been detrimental to the cartoon. It was true to my vision. Put the cartoon together. I was trying to get people to watch it. It's hard to get people to watch things that you make if they're not something they're not invested in. So the guy who did the voice, I said, when I was doing the Landlord is Knocking video, I said, how about it'd be great if I had a landlord at the end of the song knocking and kind of asking, where's the rent? And I said, what better than if we made it like a Spanish landlord, a guy that's cursing you out in another language. So for my listeners who don't speak English, he's like, where the fuck is my rent, you bitch? Which I thought, it's kind of funny. He's a passionate man. He has the Latin blood in him. And so he's cursing you out as he's knocking on the door. And the special effect that I used for that, I forgot what it's called. It's called like 4D. It's really good sound design. It sounds like someone's knocking on your door. And it had, listening to the track a couple times, I kind of jumped out of my own chair wondering who's knocking on my door, especially that the way my apartment is set up, no one should be knocking on my door. Good sound design. And I'm glad to have it part of the project. So let's move on to the next track. The next track is called Stalker. And it is, not a true story. And it's sort of, you use things from your life sometimes. It's about Instagram influencers, especially once again, this is 2022. TikTok was already a big thing during the pandemic in 2020, but it's about Instagram influencers, their fans, the parasocial relationships, parasocial meaning. And I had the same thing during the years of my podcast and also being a fan of podcasts, where you follow these influencers, you follow these people, they post every day, the big influencers, the ones you see all over the place, they have to post every fucking day. If you want to be relevant, you have to have a constant presence online. You have no life. And what happens is the people, the followers, and of course, if it's a pretty girl, it's someone that, that's attractive and funny and fun. And even if it's a bit of a play, even if it's something they put out there, it's very easy for people who are lonely during the pandemic, are locked up in their house, who you see this person online, oh, she's pretty, she's nice. I bet if we hung out, she would like me. There was a very real, and I could only imagine Instagram influencers or influencers in general. I just say Instagram because this one was inspired by an Instagram person, building up a parasocial relationship where they meet people and those people have had an eye on their lives. And yes, okay, it's a manicured vision of their life. It's obviously not their real life, but people see you putting videos every day, pictures every day, you're live streaming every day or damn near every day. These people build a relationship with you. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are lonely and are desperate for some sort of connection with another human being. It's very easy to be online and fall in love with somebody online. And of course, this happened even way before social media. People, the guy who shot Ronald Reagan did it to impress Jodie Foster. So, it's, stuff like this has been going on for decades at least. But this one is more of a parasocial relationship between a person on Instagram, an influencer on Instagram and one of their fans. And so it's kind of dark. It's called Stalker. And here we go from the Industrious Bastards, Stalker.
Wouldn't it be better to say we were together? Take away my pain by giving me so much pleasure. You don't know that I exist. I'm just part of your audience. All smiles, no pain. A perfect world for you again. You don't care about me. Just live your life so beautifully. Another post without me. I like and subscribe so dutifully. Wouldn't it be better if we were together? pleasure. Don't care about me. Just live your life so beautifully. Another post without me. I like and subscribe so dutifully. I'm standing just outside your door, though you never heard of me before. He'll never again call you a whore. You are my queen and so much more. Just open up and let me inside. There's nothing left you have to hide. I just want you right here by my side. I'll be your king, you'll be my bride. Wouldn't it be better if you said we weren't together? Take away my pain by giving you so much pleasure.
And that was Stalker by the Industrious Bastards. Now, the funny thing is, as I go back and forth watching a video and then record myself, I have to change settings on my computer so I can hear myself while I record, which is a process that I'm not used to. And if I don't have the settings set up right, I get a weird sort of where I hear myself with a delay, and it's kind of hard to talk and record yourself. If you hear your own voice at a delay, you have to hear it with like zero latency. And so I've been going back and forth. I keep forgetting to check in between tracks. But that's a little behind baseball, behind the doors. Just letting you know my struggle behind the scenes. Recording this for you guys, all three of you who will listen to it. But I assume one day I'll be in the ground, dead, and then my friends who are still alive and still care, or who could even find this, will listen to it and understand where all this music comes from. And the stories behind it, it's part of my legacy, but I sort of, my play is that if I record myself and I have plenty of stuff to leave behind online, I'll live forever. Because usually somebody dies and they don't leave anything. You know, it's hard to, I've had, a couple people close to my life die and they don't really have an internet footprint. Me, I have 10 years of a podcast. I have a book you can order online. You have, now 4 albums. And I talk about the Industrious Bastards, but let me also mention that I also have electronic music. I was really into making weird ambient noise rock music under the moniker XLNYC, which is sort of a name that I've used on all my social media. I have 4 albums, 4 full thematic albums of electronic music, which is sort of, it's not really dance music or anything like that. It's sort of just weird ambient rock, and making all that stuff sort of helped me produce these albums. You learn a lot about music production, and even though it may not sound the greatest, I think I've gotten better. Watching the video as I record, I really loved, and once again, just really, really crappy AI generated video, but how each frame transforms from eyes to a character to the camera lens on a cell phone, and then it transforms almost into a shadow, and then then you see very vague, legally you can't sue me versions of the Instagram logo. That video, I'm really proud of how it came out. I'm really glad. Once again, with AI, it's really a crapshoot unless you sit there and you have all day. But the way the video, once again, between eyes and being a stalker and turning into a shadow, and then influencers and cell phone lenses and eyeballs, it really, it's a really interesting piece of art. And I'm really proud of the way it came out. With that song, that sounds like an industrial song. It's not industrial metal per se, as is, it's not up there with like a Fear Factory or Ministry or something like that. I think it's more of a early Nine Inch Nails. I mean, it's a slow song, and it's a dark song, and it has its grooves and it has its industrial buzz to it, and that's what I would like to continue making, stuff like that. Even though all the songs, it's funny, you have like an industrial metal song along with a blues song on the same album, which I really loved. But that's more of the sound I thought I would be going for. But once again, I like playing with other genres and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Now we are going to move on to Devil's Advocate. When I made this song, I think right before I put this song out, I unfriended a friend of mine, a guy I lived with. I lived with the guy. Not only were we friends, we lived together, and we were roommates for a while. We were friends as teenagers. We always had, we had mutual friends, and we kind of, I don't want to say grow up together, but basically, I mean, your teenage friends, you do grow up with them. And like I said, when I moved out of my house, we were roommates. I moved back to New York, and he had stayed on the East Coast of the United States, and he moved to various states, I guess being a product of his current environment, he had turned real right-wing conservative, which is weird because I'm like, you're a Puerto Rican from the projects of Manhattan. Although he and I have a lot of history together, we were diverging politically. And it's a sign of the times and the pandemic and people blocking each other on Facebook and stuff like that. So he was a diehard Trump supporter, and anybody who knows me, I'm a diehard Trump hater, antagonistic towards him. This song is very much based on him. And the whole thing is that, like, when we were, like, I would post something, we'd be, once again, we're friends, and since we don't live near each other, we don't see each other, we're friends on Facebook. He would post plenty of Donald Trump stuff, and I left it alone. Whatever. But if I posted anything anti-Trump, he always had a comment. He always had to make, and I'm like, if you're friends with someone, it's okay. You can have separate views, but like, you're going to nitpick everything I put out, but I don't nitpick anything you put out. And of course, this is just me airing personal beefs and dirty laundry. It's sort of like, now you're being antagonistic to me. So it's just a shame that we kind of parted ways. I just, I unfollowed him and blocked him and stuff like that because I got tired of the bullshit, and I have family that are Trump supporters, and it's not an antagonistic relationship. It's, you follow what you follow, I follow what follow, and we have to live in harmony. So my friend being, this song is, like I said, based on him and based on our relationship at the time. And in the video, it's my character from the cartoon. I had saved the assets of the cartoon, and I lost them. I had them on a thumb drive, and my thumb drive got corrupted one day. I was transferring a very big file, and I needed it before I left the house. And I didn't realize it was still being transferred to the thumb drive when I left. And I pulled it out beforehand. I pulled out too quick, corrupted my full thumb drive. And unfortunately, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any of I do have some of the assets, but I had pretty much all the assets on that thumb drive. So lesson to you people, back up your fucking data, use 50 external hard drives, update it, send it to the cloud. Don't rely on the cloud though. The cloud is evil. But I'm just saying is if you're working on creative endeavors like this, put your shit everywhere. So if you lose one copy, you don't lose everything. So I had assets from the cartoon, and in the video, it is a burning flag it's a Trump flag, but I blurred it out where it's blurry just enough where you can see it's a Trump flag, but you can't see the actual Trump. I made it in Blender. Follow tutorials, but I was really proud of a burning flag that I made on Blender, which technically I can swap out and put any flag in there. It just, you could upload a picture of the Trump 2020 flag, and obviously people know, if you watch the video, you know exactly what's going on here. So here we go with the Industrious Bastards, Devil's Advocate.
that no one cares. It's your opinion, not my opinion. Just like castles, everyone's got one. It's your opinion, not my opinion. You chose this hill to die on. Where do you come up with the bullshit that you say? I'd be offended, but I'm not listening anyway. You promoted yourself to devil's advocate. Nobody asked you. You should keep your mouth shut. Yeah. You felt like you just had to share. No surprise that no one cares. It's your opinion, not my opinion. Just like assholes, everyone's got one. It's your opinion, not my opinion. You chose this hill to die on. You keep on pushing. You keep on pushing me. You keep on pushing. You keep on pushing me. Yeah. You promoted yourself to devil's advocate. Nobody asked you. You should keep your mouth shut. It's your opinion, not my opinion. Just like castles, everyone's got one. It's your opinion, not my opinion. You chose this hill to die on. Yeah. Bless your heart. One day you'll wise up.
And that was Devil's Advocate by the Industrious Bastards. Now, I just have to, just for clarification, I don't have, that wasn't a Trump flag per se. It was based on a Trump flag. And I had put the words hate in America. Now it's blurred out so you can't see it. But that was, I think, because I originally had that, when I made the video, I wasn't going to blur the flag being burnt with hate in America, but in the Trump style of blue flag with a red border with 5 little stars on the bottom, based on, I'm a real fan of these videos on YouTube called Epic Rap Battles of History. If you know me, you know I love those videos. I've been a fan of them for now going on 10 years. There's a rap battle between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The lyric against Donald Trump is saying, I'm selling, which is, you're saying I'm hating America while you're selling hate in America. And so that's where that line comes from. So it's a hate in America with Donald Trump and his lovely, deplorable followers. Just a quick, I'm just going to just veer off on a tangent here. On the Epic Rap Battles of History, they follow, they have obviously, celebrities and personalities and people throughout the history. Donald Trump has now been in 3 epic rap battles, And the only other character on that channel that has also been in 3 epic rap battles is Adolf Hitler. So do with that as you will. Just wanted to throw that out as a little piece of trivia as the recording, because it is an election year and Donald Trump is running for president. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put out another Donald Trump versus Joe Biden part 2 if we get to that. It's still early in the year. So once again, with the video, I'm really proud of not only making the waving flag, but how it slowly burned with the emissions. You know, people who follow this up, emissions, and also the way the flag dissolved and stuff like that. It's not perfect, but damn, for a guy who has no real professional 3D modeling experience, a burning flag came out pretty good, especially that it's a Trump flag. So now on to the next track. It's called Hear Them Call. Now, I understand my vocals on this song are a little cringy, are a little whatever, but the soul is definitely behind it. I love this song. I would love to have a version of this song recorded in a professional manner, if that makes any sense, even though I like the way it sounds here. And this is the second song that you can also hear DJ on. Now, when DJ did the vocals on this, he's sort of just vocalizing. He's not really particularly saying words per se. You can kind of hear words and you can kind of hear what he's doing. But when I was listening to the song and trying to figure out lyrics in the tradition, anybody who knows me knows I'm a diehard Metallica fan. Metallica has, at this moment, 3 different songs about Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft. Call of Cthulhu. What's the one? Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? Thing That Should Not Be, and Dream No More, which are 3 different songs about Cthulhu. And I think there might be other references here and there in the Metallica discography. So of course, me being a diehard Metallica fan, I also have to put out my own Cthulhu-related song. It's called Hear Them Call. Once again, like writing, sometimes this stuff just comes out of the ether. I wasn't planning for this to be a Cthulhu song, or how it came together, just really all the pieces fit together in your head. And I really love that analogous, I don't know. With the DJ vocals, he's sort of just vocalizing. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, these are people, these are Cthulhu cultists. This is people standing on the shore trying to bring back Cthulhu, or I want to say, and I could be wrong here, don't quote me, H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu, all that stuff took place in about the 1920s. So here we are almost 100 years later, or mid 1920s. So here we are 100 years later. So in my mind, the story of this song, it is Cthulhu came in the 1920s, fucked up the planet, or did some damage, and these are on the planet, left on Earth. And I know there's other songs, The Fishmen, other songs by other stories by H.P. Lovecraft, The Fishmen of something or other. And so this is a world where Cthulhu came, destroyed the world, and for the most part, these are sort of like human fish hybrid people that are cultists, and they're standing on the shore and they're trying to bring back Cthulhu. I don't know where the line came from, but children of mutant whores, where these people are, they're fishmen from another H.P. Lovecraft song. H.P. Lovecraft story. I keep saying song like he wrote the music. So I really like the way this song came out. And then with the DJ vocalizing on the song, it almost just sounds like people saying nonsense. So I really like the way that came out. And I would have never come up with that idea. I would never would have said, let me sing and then have cultists in the background. But since he's sort of just saying nonsense words, it comes out like a cultist chant, like people are trying to bring back the elder gods and eldritch gods. So I really love this song. This is one of the ones I'm really, really proud of. It is Industrious Bastards, Hear Them Call.
In his house at Riviera, dead Cthulhu waits, dreaming. Soon he awakes. Miskatonic rejects gathering in the moonshine. Titanic masses in the horizon, gelatinous mouth of tentacles, unknown horrors soon arising, brought forth by the eldritch symbol. They chant along the shore, children of mutant hordes. They pray for something more, something more. About a century since humanity's fall. If you listen, you can hear them call. They chant along the shore. Children of mutant hordes. Titanic mass in the horizon, gelatinous mouth of tentacles, unknown horrors soon arising, brought forth by the eldritch symbols. You can hear them all.
And that was Hear Them Call by Industrious Bastards. God, I love that song. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds so egotistical to say you love your own music. You know, that song just came out of nowhere. It's not like it's the most complex lyrics in the world, but Jesus, did it come together really easy. And being a fan of Metallica, who's written a bunch of Cthulhu-like songs, and kind of adding my own little mythos to it. Or I'm not just rehashing a H.P. Lovecraft story. I'm sort of adding on, like this is like an updated version. What would Cthulhu be up to today? I totally butcher the whole like Cthulhu Thalmeng, but it's supposed to be nonsense. You're not supposed to say it correctly, or it fits well in the song. But I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the hell out of the way it's supposed to be pronounced. We make it fit, we make it work. I love the way it fits in the song. And even watching the video with the really crude AI images, that wasn't video, that was just AI images, dozens and dozens of pictures of a Cthulhu or a elder god. And it looks ancient and it looks like stuff you'd see in an old book and stuff like that. I mean, even the video is it's a lyric video for the lack of a better term, but it also has plenty of images that I generated AI, Cthulhu related, with cultists standing on the shore. And I love that song. I'm so proud of it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's move on to the next song. This one is a love song, if you want to call it that. It is a love song. It is, spoiler alert, it's about a guy who love someone who isn't there. And when you put all these songs together and you listen to all the albums, you could see that I'm not exactly the most romantically blessed person on the planet. So some of the songs that come out are a little weird and odd and dark, and Athena is one of them. That's the name of the song, Athena. And it's about a guy who's in love. He feels it's his soulmate, for the lack of a better term. And he loves her like the goddess. And there are people from Greek mythology. I went years, I got real deep into Greek mythology with my second book, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road. But yeah, I got deep into Greek mythology and Athena. Even though Athena is like the goddess of war, I think people fell in love with her. Just even her presence would make you feel love, or something to that effect. So, and the name Athena, years ago, when I was like a teenager, my friend had a girlfriend by the name of Athena. And I never heard that name before. And I was like, what the fuck name is that, Athena? And I fell in love with that name. Like, to this day, had I had my way, I probably would have named my daughter Athena. But her mom fought me against that. But I just really, really love the name. I love the idea of a man falling in love. And women was like, you don't love a woman, you love the idea of a woman, which is kind of what's happening here, and tells you a little bit how fucked up I am in the head. So it's about a guy who falls in love. Maybe he falls in love with the goddess or whatever the case may be. But as we learn at the end of the song, she never existed. But he does love her. He has a deep, deep, passionate love, and kind of, I guess it also kind of has to do with unrequited love, sort of another version of the song Stalker, where you like someone, they don't like you back. So that's sort of the themes I was going with on this song. So here we go, Industrious Bastards, Athena.
Someone tell me, 'cause I just can't be wrong of what I'm feeling. I'll put it in this song. Athena, with all that I can see, better days for me. Once upon a crowded street, I saw your face. Everything melted, I felt out of place. My heart reached out for you. You shot off into space. Athena, I sure miss your smell. Wear it oh so well. Athena, from what I can hear, always hold you dear. My feelings reach the depths of the ocean. Not again, don't toy with my emotions. I promise never to leave you lonely, just to be your one and only. On everything sacred, this I swear. Just join me if you dare. I promise to give my all. I promise to give you my all. I promise to give my all. I promise to give you my all. Athena, please give me a taste, not would be a waste. Promise to give my all. I promise to give you my all. I promise to give my all. I promise to give you my all. Athena, remember how you feel, always seem so real. Athena, as our time draws near, feels like you were here. Athena, the night that we kissed, did you ever exist? Shelter, more than you'll ever need. Yeah, you got a pantry with more than any mouth can feed. With all that hunger, all you've got is free. Every pocket, life of luxury. Yeah, empty conscience. The best things in life ain't free. You got more than any mouth can feed. With that hunger, all you've got is greed. Yeah. Yeah. In your bedroom, we are waiting for you to go to sleep. Just keep guessing when we're coming to claim our key. You'll never see us coming, you'll never see us going as we have our way. Open up your eyes and then you realize every dog has his day. Heavy pockets, life of luxury. Yeah. Empty conscience. The best things in life ain't free. All these problems, better you than me. You got shelter, more than you'll ever need. Yeah. You got a pantry with more than any mouth can feed. All that hunger, all you've got is greed.
And that was Greed by Industrious Bastards. I totally forgot, because I listen to these songs and sometimes, and then I don't listen for a while. I totally forgot the second half of the song where like we're in your bedroom ready to take the money back, sort of a revolutionary call to action. If anything, it reminds me, and it is inspired by that scene from the Dark Knight trilogy. The Dark Knight Rises, the last one, where Bane takes over Gotham, and there are people in the streets, and they run into the apartments of like rich people, and there's no cops because all the cops, for whatever reason, all got lured into the sewers and are all locked in the sewers. And so people take to the streets, are like pulling rich people out of their houses and leaving them in the streets and stuff like that. And not that I condone that kind of action, because I certainly don't condone that kind of action, but your time is coming. Now, the revolutionary in me, the class warrior in me, which I'd probably sell out in a second if I ever actually ever got any real money, I'd probably turn into one of those rich assholes. But I digress. It's that scene from The Dark Knight Rises. In your bedroom, we are waiting for you to go to sleep. Poor people or people that are hungry are ready to take the homes of the people who have 5 homes and only live in one and stuff like that. So that's the imagery I was going for. And once again, I know this stuff is dark, guys, but that's what's in my head. I forgot about that part. So it's funny. It's like it's a surprise to me, and I wrote the damn song. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Now, this is controversial is not the right word, but okay, we are now in the world in the year of 2024. And once again, this song was written in 2022 in the world of AI. And AI is that's another thing I address a lot of. And I use AI video and AI images in my songs. And I've used AI to kind of help me with lyrics. But, we aren't at that point yet where you can go and tell, you can't just go to, nowadays, you can't go to ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a song. But you can use ChatGPT to kind of like organize your ideas. Because if you leave ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a heavy metal song about this, it's going to give you the cheesy 1980s version of heavy metal. Because trust me, I tried, I've looked into it. But using and I don't use ChatGPT, for this particular song, there's a OpenAI. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I've used OpenAI to. It helps you organize your ideas, and it kind of it's no different right now. And I know this is very controversial stuff that we're getting into, and we're gonna, you know, I can only imagine the legal issues we're gonna have over the next couple of years. I'm a big fan of George Carlin. This podcast called Dudesy just recently put out a 1-hour George Carlin special using AI based on his comedy. And then I saw on social media that his daughter sued the company, or suing the guys who put that out. And she had every right to, because they're kind of using her dad's likeness and voice. But using, like, when you're writing lyrics and stuff like that, when you use a program. Now, once again, OpenAI is really good and has helped me. Once again, it helps you organize your ideas, and it kind of gives you, it's like, and I'm pretty sure plenty of writers have this. I mean, people who write novels run ideas by their friends. People who write songs, you're going to go to your friend and say, what do you think of this? And you'll play the song for them, or you'll give them the lyrics, and they'll like, oh, this is bad, or this is good. And so it helps. It's like using a program like that sort of gives you a fresh perspective. And, you know, my social life, I don't really have songwriter friends, so you can use an AI program. Now with this song, once again, we're talking 2022. We're talking a couple of years ago when AI wasn't where it is today. It was like a lyric generator program, and you kind of put it what you want to go, so this one, I'm not going to lie, is a bit of a word salad. And I was kind of going for that because it's an industrial metal song. And once again, kind of slowy, very groovy, you know, blues influence, but industrial in nature. I kind of just said, let me just make up a lot of words. Like, if, you know, as much as I love Nine Inch Nails and as much as I love Static X, which are two industrial metal bands, some of their songs are just fucking word salad. You know, it sounds cool. And part A has nothing to do with part B, but they both sound cool being yelled into a microphone, or in this one, slowly chanted into a microphone, whatever the case may be. So Want You is sort of, it's more of a vibe. And the kids these days, man, they love the vibes, man. So, you know, it's not deep. It is sort of a song about self-doubt in a way, because it repeatedly says, does anybody want you? And I guess that's a reflection on me. And does anybody want me, and being a single bachelor and, and all this other stuff? So once again, it's a bit of a word salad, but it does have connotations of self-doubt. And so here we go with Industrious Bastards, Want You.
Even to the best dogs talking, only this in the contact. I just into that darkest meaning. Is there an easy observance? Take my hands and put out my heart. Warn me about the calm. This step the same strain. Only this is time. Back in my mental feeling to warn me about the siren. Warn you. Does anybody want you? 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 Vibrating my soul cells. Only this is reputation. Instead of alone, I was here and you time. Death shall bring me appointments. This step and own function. Someone in the world. Only this is dysfunction. Does anybody want you? Want you? Does anybody
And that was Want You by the Industrious Bastards. Or Industrious Bastards, not the. Now, when it comes to these songs, some of these, when we put them out, I have no idea where DJ gets the backing tracks. I know he did the guitars. You could see him in the videos playing the guitars. I love that track. I don't know where he got it from. It's very industrial sounding. It's just him playing the guitar. So I have no idea. I don't know. Because there are plenty of videos online of people putting out drum tracks and things for people to play guitar over. So that being said, I don't know where he got that particular track from. But I love it. I love all the synthy, grindy, distortion-y parts of the song along with his guitar. And of course, just me putting this crazy reverb and echo on the lyrics just to make it sound good, to get that vibe, man. We still have 2 more songs to go, but that is the official, if you want to call it the official album. The next 2 tracks are bonus tracks. With this one, I don't know if there was some miscommunication between me and DJ. The backing tracks, and once again, he's playing guitar over it, but the backing tracks is basically instrumental from there's a band called Cold, new metal band, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. The song is called The Park. When he put it out, I don't know if maybe I miscommunicated or I misunderstand. And once again, I think he might have just been doing a guitar cover or a guitar, like him using their backing track for him to do his own riffs on. I thought this was like, not original song, but sort of like every other song where he probably found some sort of drum track online, and I was just singing over it. Later on, I find out that this is an actual song, so I never heard the original version of the song before I wrote lyrics for it. And I call it Weight of the World, and it's about suicide. It's an anti-suicide, I guess the best way to put it. This song always brings a tear to my eye. We all go through it and we all have our dark thoughts and stuff like that. It's weird because I do get down and I do and maybe not suicidal as in I'm going to take my own life, but I've been to those points where like, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I'm happy with that. I want to raise my daughter and stuff like that. But, it's sort of like if I got T-boned at a red light and the car took my life, like I got T-boned by a truck and it killed me, I'd be happy with that. And that's not where I'm now, but I've been there. And that's where this song comes from, that hurt individual who I've been. And sometimes I still am. That guy is still there and he's still holding me. He's still there inside me. And not that like that's another personality or something like that. But when I hear, now the song is actually encouraging people not to commit suicide. So the funny thing is that when I hear the song, sometimes I'm sad and it's me telling me to, things suck, but they're going to get better. It's a temporary solution. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Once again, these next two tracks are bonus tracks. So the backing, everything besides the main guitar, the lead guitar, whatever you want to call it, the rhythm guitar, the obviously guitar in the track is DJ, but the rest of it is from a band called Cold. The song is called The Park. And then the funny thing is that I love my version before. Cold's song is sort of like empty, and it has great strings and it has a very epic feeling to the song, but the song itself is kind of, I'm certainly not insulting Cold, but the song is corny. And I think the lyrics that I added to it give it much more weight, and once again, I hear the song and it certainly makes my eyes water at the very least. It has that effect on me. And, obviously, if you're having thoughts like that, don't do it. Don't let there be a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So here we go with the first bonus track on the first album, Constructed Destruction, his song Weight of the World.
When the world feels so wrong and you're right, trying to be strong, just get through the night. When you paid all your debts, they come to collect. So the bill of nuts, you got stuck with the check. Ever been so mad you can cry? Ever been so sad that you question why? Feel the weight of the world building up inside when you're left in the cold and you wish you would die. Question your self-worth and you can't find a friend. The last man on the earth can't wait for the end. You've been treated like trash, nobody cares, and everyone acts like you weren't there. You're on a mission, 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 you're on a motherfucking mission. Ever been so mad that you cry? Ever been so sad that you question why? Feel the weight of the world building up inside when you're left in the cold that you wish you would die. You have to live. Fuck the haters. No one ever said you had to accept the short end of the stick. Ever been so mad that you cry? Ever been so sad that you question why. Feel the weight of the world building up inside. When you're left in the cold, that you wish you would die. You're not my enemy. You're not even a fucking obstacle. I'm sorry to ruin your day, but you're not gonna ruin mine. I know my value, and it's not under your shoes. You're gonna give me my respect, or I'm gonna have to fucking take it. You're on a mission. 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 You're on a mission.
And so that was Weight of the World by Industrious Bastards. Not gonna lie, eyes welled up just a little bit, little tear duct action. Once again, bonus track on the first album. We're gonna leave with the last track. I don't know if I'm gonna put any commentary after this. So if you don't hear anything, that's the end of the track. And thank you for listening for this whole thing. And come back for part 2 for Destructive Construction, which is the next album in this series. Did I say Destructive Construction? Yes. Sometimes I have to look at my own lyrics. Back to Weight of the World, the very end of that song. I mean, I know it's kind of dated. I'm using like phrases like "don't fuck the haters." I think that's one of those words where, I mean, fucking Taylor Swift can put it in a song. It's reached that cultural vernacular where it's going to be there forever. So, and that last sort of rant, it wasn't intentional until after I recorded it and I heard it a couple times. It's somewhat inspired by, coincidentally, Suicidal Tendencies, the band Suicidal Tendencies. They have a song called You Can't Bring Me Down. So when I'm sort of giving that, like, you're not my enemy, you're not even a fucking obstacle, which I love that line. I don't know where it came from. That just came out of the ether. I don't know if did I unintentionally steal that line from somebody, but it's like sometimes we think of enemies, sometimes we think someone's out against us, and they're not your enemy. They're not even an obstacle. It's sort of, we put them as an obstacle in our way. I guess when you're feeling really down, you can feel that there's lots of enemies in your way. And you're like, they're not even a fucking obstacle. And sometimes I even have to remind myself of that. So it reminds me of the Suicidal Tendency song, You Can't Bring Me Down, which is, also another uplifting song, coincidentally with a band called Suicidal Tendencies. All right, so this last song is a cover. It is this song that was this is how I discovered DJ on the Smule app. He had put out a cover, a guitar cover playing Metallica's I Disappear. It was around Christmas. So Smule sometimes has like Snapchat filters on it. He's playing Metallica's I Disappear from the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack. He puts on a filter of him where it was around Christmas, so it had a Santa hat and beard. So he had while he's playing, the camera's recording him with a filter with him with a Santa hat. So I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I took I Disappear, modified the lyrics, and made it into Santa Disappears. On top of everything else, with it being around Christmas, and once again, this was the literal first track that I ever interacted with DJ in. I turned on the filter on myself, and I put the Santa hat on me. Just a few months earlier, my father had passed away. And my father was... He dressed up like Santa Claus for plenty of charity events and for plenty of church events. He brought a lot of happiness to people's lives, and I got daddy issues. so when he passed, so it's weird that, a lot of people know my dad as Brooklyn Santa. I sort of, I don't, years ago, I thought I was going to have to pick up the mantle after that. I thought I was going to become the Brooklyn Santa. I look like Santa, fat guy, graying beard, playing Santa. I don't know what sort of, and coincidentally, just a few months after my father's passing, or just a month and a half after my father's passing, playing Santa, but also doing a Metallica song with me being a diehard Metallica fan. It was, once again, a weird sort of serendipity. And of course, being the first interaction with DJ, which sort of inspired me to make the first 2 albums and then go on and continue to make 2 more albums, working on a 5th album now. So it was a weird confluence of the universe and events that I came across this video. And once again, the first time we put it together. So it is a cover, a parody, like whatever Weird Al Yankovic does, a heavy metal parody cover of Metallica's Eyes Disappear, but from the point of view of Santa Disappears. So I'm probably not going to say anything after this track. So come on back for the next episode of Chris's Hidden Metal Show. Thank you for listening. Don't be a stranger. And here is Industrious Bastards with Santa Disappears. And a little bit of an addendum before we get back to that track. My brain had a bit of a brain fart. The album came out in 2022. The first time I met DJ on the Smule app was December of 2021. My father passed away about a month and a half before. Just wanted to clarify that for the record. So here we go. Industrious Bastards, Santa Disappears.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Here I go down your chimney, ho, ho, ho. Here I go now, here I go down your chimney. I'm bad, I'm cold, I'm jolly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here I go down your chimney. Ho, 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 ain't no cookies there for me. Ho, 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 ain't no cookies there for me. I'm mad, I'm old, I'm jolly. Yeah, 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 there's no cookies, ain't no cookies there for me. Are you naughty when I'm gone? Are you nice while I'm here? I'll drop your presents off, then it's time I disappear. Ho, 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 and I went on off your roof. Ho, 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 and I went on off your roof. I'm bad, I'm old, I'm jolly. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I went on off your roof. Are you naughty when I'm gone? Are you nice while I'm here? I'll drop your presents off, and then it's time I disappear. Are you naughty when I'm gone? Are you nice while I'm here? I'll drop your presents off, then it's time I disappear. I disappear. Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! presents. Oh, then it's time I disappear. Are you not here when I'm gone? Are you nice while I'm here? I'll drop your presents. Oh, then it's time I disappear. Yeah, disappear. Ho, ho, ho.